Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today for Friday the 13th. It seems fitting for this week. This is the daily video where we share some of today's top cord cutting stories, along with our thoughts and opinions about what's happening in the world of cord cutting. If you find this video helpful, hit that like button, and if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe for more cord cutters news videos like this every day. First things first, this week we welcomed our new Cord Cutters News team member, Philip. You may have seen his name pop up on some stories this week. He's been covering news about things like 5G internet, updates on devices, and some of the ways that internet providers are reacting to coronavirus concerns. And that's exactly where we're going to start this video today. So I'm sure, as we all know by now, coronavirus concerns have caused havoc all over the country. It's caused schools and workplaces across the country to close for a couple of weeks in many areas. So in response, some internet providers have opted to make their services more accessible for low-income families who may not have access currently. Comcast, for example, is expanding on its Internet Essentials program, which provides internet access at an affordable rate. Now that many of us are home during the day, including the kids, it's going to be much easier to accidentally go over data limits with all of the video streaming, all of the music streaming, all of the game playing, and for many of us also working from home. So in addition to promoting affordable programs, some internet providers are now considering lifting data caps. There's really been a push for this, with just so many people being affected by these restrictions on being out and in crowds, in school, and at work right now. So AT&T is the first ISP to announce that they're lifting their data cap. Consumer groups are encouraging others to kind of follow suit and do the same. So we'll be sharing updates over on Cord Cutters News as we learn more about that and just find out which providers are joining in and lifting their data caps for the time being. In the meantime, Philip has shared some of the numbers from his personal data usage at home, and he's someone who works from home, he likes watching Netflix, he has a kid at home, so check that out if you're curious about some real-life numbers. Now, for those of you who do have a data cap to deal with, we have a post for you as well. There are a lot of ways to ensure that you won't go over your allotted data for the month, so Luke shared a post yesterday with some tips that should help you out. Those tips included things like turning off autoplay and using an antenna instead of streaming when it's possible, and also downloading shows and movies to watch online, among others. So there are a few other tips over on that post, so be sure to click the link down below and check that out. This week has also brought us some alternative high-speed internet provider news. Hopefully we'll have more to share soon. But Amazon has reportedly completed a round of testing for their internet service. We don't know, unfortunately, a whole lot about what's going on just yet, including things about like pricing and an exact launch date and so forth. But it looks like that they are gathering data and they're working on turning this internet alternative into a reality. So if you're not already familiar with this Amazon internet plan, goodness, Jeff Bezos and his crew have been talking about plans for offering a high-speed internet alternative since early last year. The plan is to use low-orbit satellites, and they can use those to bring broadband to as much of the world as possible. A really huge area will be covered. So this is great news for small-town America especially, where options are limited for internet or sometimes not offered at all. It's also a great option for the rest of us because more competition could just mean more options for us to choose from, which could also lead to lower prices, which would be great. Love saving money. Now, as you've probably heard, the NBA has suspended the rest of their season after a player from Utah tested positive for coronavirus. This was obviously disappointing to everybody involved, from the players to the stadium workers to the fans, of course. So networks are also taking a hit financially because of this. The analyst firm MoffettNathanson made a statement estimating that Disney would lose, let me get this number right, $306 million in earnings for the games not being aired on ESPN. AT&T will also likely lose $168 million from the games that won't be airing on TNT. Now, I totally understand that the first reaction is to not at all feel bad for these companies that are just bringing in an insane amount of money every year. But I did want to mention this just as another way that the industry is being impacted by everything that's going on right now. I also wanted to mention this because we've been getting a lot of questions in our email and on social media asking about whether NBA League Pass will be giving out refunds now that the games aren't airing. Unfortunately, we just don't know yet. As of Friday, late morning, it is 11:30 when I'm recording this video, the NBA website says, let me read this message. The NBA is suspending gameplay until further notice. At this time, we are evaluating the impact to your League Pass subscriptions, and we will provide more information as soon as we can. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. We'll be back with updates if we hear anything about possible refunds or how they will be dealing with that. All right, so let's move on to some what to watch news. We shared a post this morning reminding our readers that your library is a really great free option. It's a wealth of content, even when you don't want to leave the house. There are several streaming services that partner with libraries so that members can use their library card to access them. A couple of the more well-known services include Canopy and Hoopla. So if you're a library member, be sure to check and see if you get access with your card. Oh, I also wanted to mention something that I just learned this morning, and this is very cool. Some libraries offer memberships to non-residents. So if your library does not offer this, you might still be in luck. In many cases, you'll have to pay a small annual fee, but it gives you access to the library and everything it has to offer. And that can include things like ebooks. So I'll try to get a list of those together for you, and I'll post maybe over the weekend. I wanted to say thank you to Lisa over in the Cord Cutting Tech Support Facebook group for that tip. Finally, if you're home and you're planning on spending some extra time watching TV and movies, you can create an awesome watching and listening experience with Roku's new surround sound update. You'll need a Roku soundbar, You'll need a Roku soundbar and the wireless speakers to set it up. We posted a little review over on Cord Cutters News if you want to learn more about that. All right, that's our show for today. Thank you all so much for being here. Don't forget to head over to cordcuttersnews.com for these full stories, updates, and much more. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you all again soon.